Hey, you guys, welcome to the Well Said Show. My name is Rochelle, and I'm so excited that you are here with me today. I'm going to be speaking of 5 reasons why it's important to hear from God. How do you hear from God? First, ask. Pray about it. Ask the Lord to help you to hear from Him. And two, be still. Now, I'm pretty new to this being still. I've been doing it before, but I'm a little more intentional about it now these days. And I'll be more than happy to make more content speaking about my experience on being still. But from my experience, it's removing the noise. A great way of being still is fasting, because when you're fasting, you're intentionally making time to be with God, to hear from God. You replace all of your distraction with intentional time for Him. Lastly, when you ask to hear from God, be patient. Give Him a moment so you can actually hear Him. While you're waiting for His response, be still and stay in the Word. But please understand, we all have access to His voice. But if you feel like you haven't heard from Him in a long time, or you just haven't heard His voice, you may have just decreased the volume of His voice and increased other voices. Those other voices can be your voice, the enemy voice, lies, distractions like social media, influencers, all these different type of voices in your head that's fighting for your attention. So you'll only really hear the voice that has your main attention and who you truly believe. I promise you, you know God's voice, but to recognize God's voice, you have to know who He is. For example, let's just say that you have a friend, right? And they're straight vegan, haven't ate meat in like a decade. You text your best friend and you say, hey, what's up for dinner? What you eating tonight? I need an idea. Your friend texts back and say, we're going to pull up at Popeyes because they have a 2-for-1 chicken sandwich, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. It's no way you're not going to double check your phone and be like, this is not my friend, because who is this? No, they don't play those types of games. It's exactly the same way with God. When you spend time with God, you learn Him. So you want to get acquainted with God, because when you do so, you learn His characteristic, which helps you learn and identify His voice. And just like that, His voice gets louder and louder, and it's so easy for you now to identify His voice because you know Him. You know who God is. You know what He sounds like. You know His tone. You know what He wouldn't do and what He would do. So let's throw an intentional conversation question in here. Who right now has the mic in your head? Who are you listening to? And if it's not God, why? So now that we got that out the way, let's get into it. Reason number one why you should hear from God: to know who you are, to know your God's given identity, vision, and purpose in this lifetime, to learn exactly why God created you, to know what you need to do and what you need to fulfill while you are here. Why did God give you those unique talents? Why did you grow up where you grew up? What are you here to do? We want to hear from God to truly understand what is our purpose, which leads to number two, to know your vision. After God has enlightened you, or better yet, help you remember who and whose you are, He can better direct you and help you to see how to walk out and walk in your purpose. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Listen, right now in this season, I am begging God, like, help me with my vision. I really want to know so I can continue to walk into everything He has in store for me. And I just feel like He's giving me singular steps, little clues here and there, but that's okay. I trust Him fully. He can see the bigger picture, and it's my duty to just make sure I take care of that one step so I'm prepared for the second step that He gives to me. I trust Him fully. I know it's going to all work out for my good. It's just my job to be obedient and to have faith. Number three, to receive my daily bread. Every morning I ask God for my daily bread. I need all of that, okay? I'm not playing. I ask God before my feet touch the floor. I need my daily bread, God, please. I have no idea what the days have in store for me, so I ask God to give me my daily bread to prepare me mentally, spiritually, and physically so I stay in alignment with Him. In Matthew 6:11, Jesus teaches us all to ask God for our daily bread, which is basically just asking Him to prepare us and give us everything that we need for the day. We do not need to be anxious for what the new day may bring. Just ask Him for your daily bread. If you don't get anything else from this video, take this gem, and before your feet touches the floor every morning, ask God for your personal daily bread. Put on that armor of God, okay? Just ask Him. It's the best life insurance, I promise you. Number four, guidance on how to operate in different situations and conversations. Honestly, I am always asking God, please help me and teach me what to say. It's not like I have a problem with my mouth. I don't have an attitude. I'm a nice person and I do talk for a living. But when people speak with me, I always want them to feel God's love. And I do understand that our tongue is so powerful. Our words are so powerful. So I'm very intentional when it comes to that. But let's be real, on certain situations or conversations, you can get a little turned up if that person is being disrespectful. But walking with God can be very selfless at times, and you do have to forgive and you do have to watch your tongue. We are Christ representatives, and always remember, we are not in a battle between flesh and blood. It's a spiritual war. So in those moments, go ahead and just ask God, take a second, take a breather, and ask God for his guidance to help you and to bless the situation. You weren't in that situation or that conversation by coincidence, okay? It all happened for a reason. Pass that test. And lastly, number 5, warnings. This one was a new one for me. I never thought about warning. And in my daily devotion, I was reading Jeremiah 6:10, and the Lord was telling Jeremiah, please warn my people that a destruction is coming, because they couldn't hear from God. Now, they had broke the covenant with God because they was wilding. Y'all just got to read that for yourself. But it just brought things in perspective for me that I never want to not hear from him if he needs to give me a warning. And I'm sure you feel the same way. So those are my top 5 reasons on why it's important to hear God's voice, but there's so many more. Drop a comment below and share why it's important to you to hear God's voice. And always remember to read the Bible for yourself to get that revelation on the word. Thank you guys so much for being here with me on this first episode back with Well Said Show. You guys can follow me at Roach Baby or the show page, Well Said Show, on all platforms. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and like for new episodes. Love you guys. God bless.